Yeah, so I thought we did some good things tonight, but obviously not for long enough periods of time. So that third set win was a little spark for us, but we just couldn't sustain a high level of play. I didn't think we defended well enough tonight, and that bled into other things. Like our two left sides didn't score well tonight, but I thought that was off of lack of first contact and defense. They weren't getting great opportunities. So we've got to defend better. It was the same story last night. If our offense was fine, we just couldn't get enough defensive stops. And both those teams run fast. We're not seeing that in our own gym. It's a little bit faster, and our eyes just couldn't catch up to it. We didn't adjust to the speed tonight well enough.
What do you take from the first two matches then? I hear some similarities there from Stanford to tonight. Probably would have certainly phrased it differently in the way you see the game. But what do you take from the first two matches, Lindsay?
Well, it's a good learning experience. I mean, I'm glad we played them for sure. I don't regret it. We had a great environment. It's great for our team to face competition like this that's fast and athletic and a little bit higher than we're used to. So it's a great experience. We take what we can from it to go, these are our strengths against a really good team. This is what we got to work on. You know, I kept saying it's got to be a benchmark weekend for us, and I think it is. We know more about ourselves than we did 3 days ago, and we'll keep moving forward. It's a fast turnaround with CSU and CU, and then 2 more matches at CU. So there's not a lot of practice time. We got to be learning through matches. I thought we really did that last night. We maybe did a little bit tonight. I thought we could have learned better through the match tonight, but I think there's some positives to take from the match for sure.
How do these matches, we talked about it when we were in your office with Mackenzie that day, how do these impact the RPI and ultimately what you want to do, depending on how some things shake down in November and December? But
yeah, these are good RPI matches.
You're not hurt by this, really.
Absolutely. These matches are everything to gain and nothing to lose for us. We want these two teams to now go win a lot of matches. And that's why they want to play us, is they're hopeful that we will win a lot of matches in our conference and in the rest of our non-conference season. So, yeah, it was everything to gain, nothing to lose. We didn't make a big gain in terms of getting the outcome we wanted, but nothing hurt in terms of our RPI or, you know, even the learning experience that we gained from these two matches.
After Kentucky lost to CSU last night, did that affect how you evaluated tonight's match? Do you look at that a little bit differently and think, okay, well, maybe we do A instead of B? I don't know, but I was wondering how that might have impacted you guys.
Yeah, I think we were able to see what CSU did successfully, and then you look at yourselves and go, are we able to do those same things? CSU blocked them really well, and we didn't tonight. And so I thought they were able to disrupt their offense, and we didn't disrupt their offense.
Okay.
I thought that was a big factor that, you know, why CSU can win that match. I don't know that then leads into Tuesday night when it's us versus CSU. That'll be a very different matchup, and what factors will be important in determining that outcome. So I don't think it changes our confidence for Tuesday, but we do know what we missed out on tonight in that we needed to disrupt them with our block and couldn't do it.
We had two close games, four sets tonight, 2 close and 2 that were, not as much. What happened exactly? You've touched on a little bit. I want to just ask the question maybe a little more directly. What was going wrong in those 2 games that were just a little off?
Yeah, they would just get on a couple service runs that we couldn't get out of rotation.
Just couldn't defend those.
Scoring.
Yep. Okay. That was really it. Game 3, though, you were down, I think, testing my memory a little bit, kind of came back on that one. What did that tell you? Yeah.
We had a spark there, and I thought the key was Izzy Bennett in the middle.
Yes.
You know, she had a very good night for us offensively, and we weren't feeding her the ball enough early on. And we got her some good looks. She had a very good night, 8 for 12. And Gabby Placide had a great night offensively. 0 errors. I mean, for a freshman to have 0 errors, to manage the ball like she did and still have 9 kills, I like what she's doing offensively. With both of them, we got to work blocking. You know, we got to have more complete players at every position that can do multiple things, not just one thing well, because we were limited in what we could do blocking or making some great offensive plays, or vice versa in some situations. So we'll continue to get better in those situations. We have depth at a couple positions, and we'll keep working in the lineup to see where we can build that up a little bit to get more of what we saw in set 3.
Let me just ask this question. You said you know more about yourselves than you did 3 days ago. What do you know? What do you know now that you didn't know 3 days ago?
Well, I like our offense. And, I mentioned that last night, that was a little bit of a pleasant surprise. I'm not sure a week ago I'd have said I like our offense, but I do. We're going to score well. We're more balanced than I thought we'd be. Our middles are scoring well. We have, we knew we'd have scoring from the pins. So that's a big thing. That's a hard thing to change. You kind of are who you are offensively. And so I like that. That's a big one. Our first contact's not good enough. The serving and the serve receive. Last night it was serving. Tonight it was serve receive where we gave up too many points. That's more fixable. That's a skill thing, not a talent thing. So we can work that. We can get better in that. And I feel very confident that we can be a good serving team. We weren't these 2 matches, but that is something that's fixable. So that's what I learned is I'm very optimistic coming out of it that our big things, we're going to be pretty good this year. There's a lot of skill and learning that we got to do to get better to win matches.
Coach, I know you always want to win, but you got to look at it over the 7 sets. You play against 2 of the best teams in the country. You really were blown out of your own gym. You were in almost every set. How big is that? I know it's different in December, but how big is that going to add to your team come November, December?
Well, there's some positive takeaways there, but we don't want to be an almost team. Our assistant PE has said that to our team a couple times this week. We don't want to almost beat Stanford or almost beat Kentucky, because in December, we don't want to almost win a first round match. We don't want to almost win a Big Sky championship. We got to make plays. And so there's a sense of urgency there, even though the outcome wasn't the most important thing in these 2 matches. There's plays in there where we're almost making the play. We're almost catching up to the speed that we got to adjust to a little bit quicker.
And to tag team on that, if you take the first set last night and the first set tonight, which you were close at both of them, how much does that change going into that second set?
Well, it's certainly a confidence boost and puts you up in a better position to make them adjust a little bit more. And yeah, we let the first set slip away in both matches, last night and tonight. So, we'll be watching a lot of film on both matches and evaluating ourselves to see what are those moments that can turn the tide.
Let me just follow up real quick. Does that carry over from the first set to the second set both nights, then kind of set a tone for the rest? I would say not necessarily off the top of my head, because you did bounce back in both game 3s, I think.
Yeah.
Or set 3s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know that that's a trend yet. If you're kind of asking that. With 2 matches, there's so much unknown still. So if this is 6 matches straight where we let first set slip away in a tight situation, we maybe need to address it a little bit more. Each of these 2 matches was very different in terms of what was working, what wasn't working, what players were even having success and which ones were struggling through it. So, we'll look at each match, learn from it, and get better.